Right, good evening, everybody. My name's Mr. Bertrand. I'm head teacher at Oakbank. We're just going to have a little bit of an introduction whilst we wait for other people to join us and get online. It's a real shame that we're not in the hall, which is just behind me, and able to be here in person. Open evening is such a vibrant, exciting time in the school. It's, of course, a disappointment to all of us that we don't have that, but we have the next best thing, because we've got some really great videos, some great resource that is online. I hope you've already managed to have a look at the website to see the different links and connections there and the information on there. Some really good virtual tours. There's one with a drone. There's some others where you can go into lessons and see what's happening and what's going on in the school. At the end of this presentation, we're going to put one of those on as well, so you'll be able to see that. But the website is full of that information. I'm hoping later this month, perhaps next month, we may be able to have some open mornings as well. So we will see how that goes, but a little bit more of that later on. So welcome to Oakbank. We are a real community school, and I believe that we are a place for your young people to thrive, for all children, all students at Oakbank to succeed and to move on to their future successes. So it's been an interesting year for me this year, my first year of headship. I stood on the stage last year to introduce myself to new year 6 into year 7 parents, and we've gone through a huge amount this year, not just COVID, not just Ofsted, but we have learned so much, and we have made this school such a strong place in such a short time. And one of the things that we have done to achieve that is to really think about our values. What do we stand for? And I've been working with the students in the school, with staff, with parents, with the whole community to consider what we really represent and what we believe to be our core values. And those 3 values are here behind me on the board: integrity, collaboration, and excellence. Now, one of those words there you can see is collaboration, and it's really important for me that I'm working with the students in the school, and I'm really pleased to say that 3 of my student leaders have been able to think about what these 3 words mean for them. And so they're going to talk about the importance of integrity, collaboration, and excellence to Oakbank and to the school community, and really show what our values are. So I'm going to introduce our student leaders now. So if Abby would like to come up to start with. So Abby's going to talk to us about integrity, and we'll then hear from the other 2. So Abby, to talk about integrity.
Hello everyone, my name is Abby, and today I will be talking about one of our 3 values. Here at Oakbank, we take pride in our values as they are what I believe to be the foundations of our school community. I will be talking about integrity. Integrity is the quality of being truthful and honest in all areas of life, whether that is in school or our personal lives. At Oakbank, our students and staff show integrity every day by showing everyone respect. This includes our peers, all staff, visitors, and whilst representing outside of school. We also represent integrity by always striving to do better. Recognising our strong points as well as our weaknesses is something we do on a daily basis, leaving us always trying to improve. Finally, at Oakbank, we practice integrity by being able to admit that we are wrong in situations that we need to. We always try our hardest to take on constructive feedback from others around us, and we use it to better ourselves. We as a school believe that by developing useful skills such as integrity now will help prepare us for the wider world outside of school, and will help us when we are faced with difficult decisions and hard choices. I hope that you have found this speech useful, and thank you for listening.
So thank you so much to Abby, and really sharing with us what integrity means to us at Oakbank and how important it is for us to be honest and to work towards the very best for every student who comes to Oakbank School. So I'm going to introduce Charlotte, who's here. She's going to join us now, and she's going to talk about collaboration.
Hello everyone, my name is Charlotte and the value I'll be discussing today is collaboration. At Oakbank, we hugely believe that working together as a community is a core value of our school environment, which fulfills our perception of being a school where every student thrives. Ways in which we show our aspects of collaboration include: number one, listening to one another. Whenever I have a problem or another student does, I believe I have the people around me that will listen and help me find a solution. Number two, inclusion of others. At Oakbank, no one is left out, and to support this, we have days dedicated to learning about the wider world, which contain team building exercises, ensuring everybody feels involved. Number three, communication. Communication is extremely important to us, as it allows us to understand one another, demonstrated by our aspects of including others. Number four, consultation. I feel we have an easily accessible way of expressing any worries or problems by our student voice or through emailing teachers. It is easy to contact and interact with one another. Number five, commitment and persistence. Through the house points and reward systems, I believe we are encouraged to try our hardest, and our teachers inspire and ensure we are committed to our learning. Number six, patience. I believe that we are given time to move forward in lessons and to practice what we have learnt with a steady pace. Number seven, celebrating other people's identities. At Oakbank, everybody is accepted, no matter your race, gender, nationality or sexuality. You are able to be yourself. Number eight, taking responsibility and forgiving. Part of acceptance is understanding the choices that have gone wrong and resolving and forgiving people, which is done by students being able to take responsibility and move on. And number nine, well-being. Our support emotionally at school is extremely helpful and aids our learning. Both teachers and students understand one another. Here at Oakbank, we help each other grow as a school community.
Thank you very much to Charlotte there, who has really expressed what we all feel about collaboration at Oakbank. We are a small community school. We all work together. We all support each other. It's incredibly important to us. Now, you can see behind me, we've got Tiana here. Now, unfortunately, Tiana is unable to be with us this evening, but she has recorded a message for us all about excellence. So, Tiana.
Hello everyone, I'm Tiana and I'm also one of the 3 student principals from Year 11. At Oakbank, we have 3 key values that make our community complete. The value I'm going to speak about is excellence and how we embrace it in our school community. At Oakbank, excellence is internal, contagious and a way of life that focuses on the process. At Oakbank, there are 9 behaviours that can be performed by both students and teachers. Number 1, respecting all. Everyone has a worth and a potential. Everyone deserves respect. Number 2, ambition for all. Excellence provides challenges and high ambitions for anyone. Everything is always competed to the very best. Number 3, humility. We involve everyone and take suggestions from everyone, regardless of the person or position. Number 4, seeking perfection. Perfection may feel unattainable, but you can always strive for it anyways. Number 5, recognizing that learning comes from failure. We encourage creativity and experimentation to stop the fear of failure. Number 6, focusing on the process. We don't blame others for our mistakes. We find the error, make adjustments and carry on with the process. Number 7, assuring quality at all levels. We only expect high quality and we remember to sweat the small stuff. Number 8, providing consistency. Everyone works towards the same goal, values and vision, which makes Oakbank a thriving place to be. Number 9, valuing students' needs. We understand the needs and expectations of every student and ensure that they are delivered. Finally, I believe that these values are important as they are day-to-day skills that we will need to learn when we enter the wide world. Eventually, after we've completed these skills every day, we will use them without even realizing. Thank you for listening, and I hope you understand how the 3 key values make the community of Oakbank a strong place to be.
Okay, I'm sure you all agree with me that our 3 student leaders there have given a really great impression of the school. I'm going to give them a round of applause. I'm sure you at home are giving them a round of applause too. So thank you to Abby, to Charlotte and Tiana, who've done a tremendous job to really show us the importance of these 3 core values for us, and really show what Oakbank is all about. So these are our values. This is what we live to. Every decision I make, every decision that's made in the school is based around integrity, collaboration, and excellence. And in order to help us achieve these 3 values and to make sure that the experience of every student at Oakbank is as good as it possibly can be, we have these 3 expectations. And these expectations are to be ready, to be respectful, and to be safe. And if students do those 3 things, and staff and every member of our community, then we will uphold and achieve our ambitions. So let me just take you through each of these. So the first is to be ready. That means to be in attendance, to be at school, to be on time to school and on time to lessons, to be in the correct uniform, to have the correct equipment, pens, pencils, rulers, to have your books ready, to have all of your homework, home learning done. And once you're there in your lesson, to be focused and alert and ready to learn. That's what we ask from every student. And for those students who sometimes find that a little bit more challenging or a little bit more difficult, we will put support in place and we will help them to become the ready student that we expect everybody to be. But by being ready, learning takes place, and it takes place quickly and successfully, and we have good progress throughout the whole school. So that's readiness. The second thing is to be respectful. And I expect all students in the school to be respectful in 3 different ways. The first way is to be respectful to themselves, to respect the fact that they need to sleep well in order to be successful at school, that they need to eat properly, that they need to look after themselves and respect themselves to be the best learner they can, to make sure that they don't stay up all night on the Xbox, drinking Lucozade and eating Pringles, but instead that they have a good night's sleep, they eat well, they do their home learning, and they have respected their opportunity to learn. So that's the first thing, being respectful to themselves. The second thing is to be respectful to each other. Now, we heard our student leaders then talking about the need for respect and how we collaborate with each other, how we celebrate diversity and individuality. It is really important that every student is prepared to recognise the importance of each other, to recognise how being different is a positive thing, to celebrate difference, and to make sure that that respect is shown throughout the school, whether you are from a particular race or religion or a particular gender. It's really important that all members of the school sites at the school are respectful. And then the third way of being respectful is to adults, to the teachers, to the support staff, to you as parents, to making sure that there is respect, looking up to the adults in their society and the school as well. So we've got readiness, we've got respect, and finally safety. And safety is much bigger on our agenda now, isn't it? Because of COVID, because of all that that brings, but it's always been important to make sure that whatever you do, you're doing in a safe fashion that keeps you safe, keeps those people around you safe. And I have to say that I've been so impressed by the young people at Oakbank over the beginning of this year in the way that they have understood and recognised the vital importance of all the safety messages that we're giving at the moment. It just shows that they are ready, respectful and safe. And students in Oakbank have really taken this on board. Where we have issues, if we ask students, what are our expectations, what are our rules, they know ready, respectful, safe. They understand it. It's something that's embedded throughout the school now. And it helps us achieve the values that we were talking about earlier. So, when I addressed this similar audience a year ago as a new head teacher, my biggest concern was the poor exam results that had happened in the summer. And you may be able to see here, we've got the 2019 exam results behind me, minus 0.5 progress aids. Now to explain that, that means that every GCSE that students took last year, they were on average scoring half a grade lower than they would have done if they'd been at the national standard. So they weren't progressing as they should. The school was not doing the job that it should have been doing. And I've been really excited this year as we have developed and progressed, and many of the things that I'm going to talk about in a minute have really helped us give those students in year 11 the opportunity to succeed. We have made great progress this year. And if we look at the results from this year, 2020, we're now at positive 0.15. That is 130% improvement on last year. Some of you may say, well, but this year the results all came from teacher assessment. Didn't you inflate them? You made them up, didn't you? We were absolutely rigorous in making sure that every grade that we gave to a student was absolutely what we understood they would achieve had they done their GCSEs. All the way through the year, our statistics were showing that we were going to achieve really good results. And I'm extremely proud of our year 11s. And it shows just what is possible at Oakbank. And that's just in 1 year of improvement. I'm really looking forward to the future now, seeing better and better grades as we go through. And these not being a pleasant surprise and something that we celebrate, but what we expect as we progress over the next few years. And when your students come into Oakbank in 5 or 6 years' time, I would be expecting to see them flying high and achieving whatever they possibly can. So we've got some really good results this year, which I'm very proud of, but this is just the beginning. So prior to those results, we had Ofsted, and Ofsted came to visit us in January. So I had been in post just for 1 term, lots of changes already made, but I was quite sure in my belief that with the results that we'd received in 2019, that an Ofsted inspection would not judge us to be good because the standards were just not there. We did all we could to maintain that good result. And there are 4 Ofsted judgments: behaviour and attitudes, personal development, leadership and management, and the quality of education. We achieved good in 3, get my fingers right, 3 of the 4 judgments. We achieved good in our behaviour and attitudes. The ready, respectful, safe, the new strategies that we've put in place there showed positive attitudes towards lessons and an improvement in behaviour. So we were very pleased with that behaviour judgment. Our personal development judgment, the way we support students, which I'll talk about more in a moment, was also judged to be good. Students get the right support when they need it, Ofsted said. Leadership and management. Ofsted were very complimentary of my role, but also of the place of the senior leadership team and all leaders across the school, heads of department, heads of year, showing a very clear vision, showing we know what we're trying to achieve and how we're trying to achieve it, that we've got the procedures in place to make sure the school goes from strength to strength. That got a good as well. So the one area of weakness was the quality of education. What happens in the classroom? But even then, Ofsted said, teaching and the curriculum are improving. So although they couldn't give us good because of the grades from 2019, they could see the strategies that I had been putting in place and were being implemented by teachers were already making a difference. And it's because of that that the grades in the summer were quite so fantastic and why we can celebrate them so much. So what have we done? Well, one of the first things we have done is to make sure that we have clear values, that we've got a clear vision, we know where we're going as a school, and we have raised expectations. I'm expecting the very best of all students as they walk through this door, and we're not going to accept second best for any student. We will be doing all we can to make sure every student achieves the highest quality education and that they have whatever they want at the end of their education in terms of pathways and next steps, because they have got all of the qualifications they need to open those doorways. We have implemented a new curriculum. It's much more ambitious, It's much broader. We have RE as a subject which wasn't part of our curriculum before. That's been introduced this year. We are having more French this year. We've got a broad curriculum across Key Stage 3. So all students teach are taught a full range of the art subjects, the humanities, there's computer science, there's design and technology, PE. They have all the opportunities they need in Key Stage 3 to explore a wide range of interests and to make sure that there is absolutely something for everybody, as well as those core skills and core pieces of knowledge that need to be developed to go on into GCSEs in 3 or 4 years' time. One of the things that was a big problem for Oakbank when I joined was the staffing. We weren't fully staffed and we didn't have as much staff as we should have done. So there were classes that were being taught by non-specialists or weren't being taught as they should have been at all. Now, that has completely changed. There has been a sea change in terms of staffing. We have consistent and fully staffed classes. All of our classes staffed by highly competent, qualified, expert teachers. And not just fully staffed, but also we have increased our staffing. So we have more maths teachers, we have more science teachers. This means that we're able to really focus on providing the support that students need and having smaller groups and intervention classes so that everybody can get the care and attention they need to be able to progress. Obviously, Ofsted were critical of our teaching and learning. I have appointed a new assistant head teacher, a new member of the senior leadership team, with that brief just to focus on raising the quality of teaching and learning. And already we've got a very clear vision of what teaching and learning looks like, a consistency across each lesson. So students know what to expect and teachers know how to plan and make sure that progress is taking place in every single lesson. And we are quality assuring that as well. So we're being very rigorous about going into lessons, seeing how teachers are teaching and students are learning, talking to the students, finding out about their experience, learning about what's working for them, what isn't working, looking at their work, and making sure that we really understand how Oakbank ticks and that we therefore can put all of those strategies in place to get the very best out of all students who come here. So, those are the things that we've done since Ofsted, and we continue to progress, we continue to develop, and we won't stand still. We will become better and better as we do, as we continue. So, life at Oakbank. Well, life at Oakbank in my year has gone through so many changes, I can't even begin to consider them all. But obviously, we are now in a COVID school. It may be in a year's time we still are. It may be that we're in a different place altogether. I really wouldn't like to predict. However, at the moment, we have 3 100-minute lessons. Now, that sounds like a long time, but actually, we've really been enjoying those lessons because it means teachers can have a whole range of activities throughout a lesson. That means they can really explore and assess a subject as they progress. And we don't just have a 100-minute lesson with no break. There are breaks in there so students can stretch their legs, get some food and move around. And it means that they're able to get all the way through a lesson and focus and concentrate and make really good progress. So we've really found those 100-minute lessons to be extremely beneficial. And the Year 7s this year are coping really well with them. We've also, I've talked about this already, got consistent teaching and learning processes. So students know what to expect. Teachers are planning consistently across departments. It means that we have a much clearer vision of where we're going with all of our lessons. We have today, in fact, just introduced a new home learning strategy. So in Year 7, that will mean for the 3 lessons that each student has a day, they will have 3 20-minute pieces of home learning. And they will be expected to complete those, not the next day, but in the next few days. And they will have an hour of work a night. Now, that's the maximum they will have. It might be there's some occasions where someone doesn't set some work, and that will be clearly communicated with you. But on the whole, it's expected that each Year 7 student will be doing an hour home learning each evening and organising and planning that learning for themselves. And much of that home learning is going to take place on our online learning platform, which is Teams, Microsoft Teams, which has been developed over the last months whilst we've been in lockdown, so that we now have a really strong digital curriculum that's available both at school and at home. And that leads me to these three strange initials here, BYOD. Bring your own device. So next year, for year sevens who are joining Oakbank next year, there will be an expectation that every student brings their own device to school. Now, these will be devices that we provide and we work out exactly the best ones for the school, but every student will have the same, and there will be a package available for purchase, and for those parents who perhaps are on benefits or don't have the finances, there'll be support to enable that to take place. We haven't got all the details of that package yet. We're still exploring the right one, but I know it's the right thing to do because we do have that digital curriculum in place now, and we do have the infrastructure in the school to make it work. So there will be a seamless integration between what happens in school, what happens at home. The home learning will be linked by the device that every student owns. They'll be able to access the networks in school and at home in a safe way and in a way that really supports progress. So more information is going to follow as far as that's concerned as we pick it up and as we learn more about what we're going to do. But this is the strategy that we will be working towards for September 2021 and the year 7 students who are joining us there. So some of you sent in questions beforehand, and those were very helpful, and we're going to try and go through a number of those. And one was, what support do you have for a student who is anxious about coming to school and joining a secondary school? Or what support or help do you have for a student who has dyslexia, or maybe has a diagnosis of ASD, or perhaps has issues but doesn't have a diagnosis at all yet? How do we help? How do we support? Well, the first thing to say is that we support through the teaching in the classroom. And every teacher works very closely to make sure that there is good support and guidance for every student that they teach. That where necessary, they are pushing and challenging students on, and in the same class, they are finding opportunities to scaffold and support students who need a little bit more help. Their planning, their preparation provides them with the opportunity to do that. And actually having 100-minute lessons makes that easier, because as a teacher, you have more opportunity to really focus in on the 3 lessons that you're planning that day, rather than maybe the 5 or 6 lessons that you would otherwise have. So the teacher in the classroom is always the first support. In terms of more general support then for year 7 students, it's the tutor though. So every day there's a tutor session. First thing in the morning, 8:30, students arrive and they go to their tutor session, half an hour, and they meet with their tutor, and that's an opportunity to share any concerns, any worries, anything that might be on their mind, they can talk to their tutor about.
Why do they not have that in
If there are anything that the tutor's not sure about, then that will then get passed on to the head of year. As parents, first port of call would be the tutor. But if things are still going that you're not sure about, or you don't feel that you've got the right resolution, or you're concerned about, then you talk to the head of year. The head of year will be the figurehead of the year group and really molds that group of students into the fantastic year group that we know they're going to be. We're also very lucky to have a student support team as well. So these are non-teachers who are available throughout the day to pick up any concerns, any worries, any support that might be needed, and really they underpin all of the work that the tutors and the head of year do every day. So we're very lucky to have them. And if there are those little issues of anxiety or concern or worry, the student support team are there to help. Our SEND, our Special Needs Department, I'm very pleased to say that that's been completely refreshed and renewed this year. And the work that they are doing is outstanding in terms of both recognising where students need support and then providing the strategies and the support to help them after that. They have been great during the whole transition process this year, identifying students who already are recognised as having needs, but also finding other students who perhaps have undiagnosed needs and really working hard there to find the correct level of support for them. So they will be working with primary schools and all the way through transition to help anyone who might need a little bit more aid and assistance. For those students who may be a bit more anxious about joining a secondary school, and perhaps it's not quite right for them to go full pelt into a mainstream environment, we also have Oak Class. An Oak Class is for a smaller group of students who perhaps have more needs and need a bit more support, and they will be taught in that smaller class for their core lessons and then go into the bigger class for the rest of their lessons, and it provides a bridging transition for them as they move into the whole school. And they wouldn't necessarily be there the whole year. When they're ready to move on, then they will go back into the mainstream school. But it's a very good way of kind of bridging that gap between primary and secondary. And I talked about diagnosing. CATS testing is one of the tools that we use to diagnose how students are performing and whether they need any support. But we also use some dyslexia tests, some reading tests, numeracy tests, a whole range of different things for us to understand what support is required for every student. And of course, alongside that support, also challenging and making sure students are really progressing at the rate that they should be, whatever their needs, whatever their requirements. So we talked a bit about transition. Obviously, transition will depend a little bit on where we are in terms of COVID and what we're allowed to do. I would love to get to the point where we can have lots of school visits, where students can come to visit us, where we can go and visit them in primary school. All of that will happen if it possibly can. If it can't happen, it will happen online. And this year we made sure that there were lots of opportunities for online Zoom meetings, things like this, but in a kind of more personal setting, finding out all we can from the primary school, communicating with them, learning about each student individually. I've talked about how SEN has done that really successfully, but the head of year will be finding out about everybody else as well. We'll have some student buddying activities, either online or in person, so that year sixes can talk to year sevens about what their experience was like. What it was really like coming into secondary school. Was it as worrying and as scary as some people think? No, of course it wasn't. It's a much better experience, and they will be able to set the year sixes who may be a little bit anxious, set their minds to rest. And we will be listening to you and working with you to make sure that we're providing all the support we can to make sure the transition from primary to secondary goes as smoothly as it possibly can. We'll also be talking to primary about the work that each student has done during their time in Key Stage 2. And we'll be getting examples of that work, so we've got a really good understanding of what a great piece of work for each student is, so that we can maintain standards and make sure year 7 just goes off on a kind of accelerated pathway rather than dipping down as we try to learn about each student. We will do that work before they get here. Lots of you are asking about extracurricular clubs, about what we do outside of the lessons, and we have got a wide range of opportunities. Some of them are listed there. At the moment, it's very difficult for us to do trips, but we will be bringing those back online just as soon as we can. So once we're allowed to, we will have battlefields trips and trips to Italy and so on. We'll have international trips. We'll have national and local trips as well, going to the theatre. We have reward trips, so perhaps going to Thorpe Park because they've been good during the year, looking to do outward bound trips. We want a wide range of different trips, and as soon as COVID allows us to, that's exactly what we will make sure happens. We've got lots of sports clubs here. I was given by the head of PE just yesterday a whole list of clubs that we've got running every night, even at the moment during COVID. So we've got football, we've got netball, we've got athletics, we've got basketball, we've got table tennis. There's a whole range. You name the sports club, we've got it. There are fixtures as well as clubs playing against local schools, using the sports facilities that we've got just across the way from us, the 3G pitch. All of those fantastic facilities are there and used as extracurricular clubs as well. And then, as you can see, a whole range of different things. I've just put a selection up there, but what I would say for Year 7 students, we don't just offer these things, we expect Year 7s to really get involved and be in as many of these different clubs as they can, to take advantage of all that we have to offer at Oakbank School. One of the things we have to offer is student leadership. You'll have seen the fantastic student leaders that we had earlier this evening who presented to you. They are just the tip of the iceberg. Students, I'm always encouraging students to come and talk to me. I have them sit around my desk and share their ideas and opinions with me. We have student leaders throughout the school, subject leaders, we have house leaders, the house competitions, which they're developing and taking forward. We have leaders in the library, making sure that every student has the opportunity to take on a leadership role and show and develop those leadership skills is really key to one of our aspects of collaboration. We want every student to have that opportunity to be a leader within the school. And we listen to students. It's really important to me that it's not just something that we say, but we listen to what they have to say, we take on board their views and opinions, and they become central to what we do as a school. An example of that is our Eco Club. Students were very forceful in their voice in terms of the environmental impact of the school. And through the last year, we've worked really hard to develop our Eco Club, and we've won awards now for what we do in terms of the environment and ecology. And that brings me on to the school community. It's not just about what happens between student and teacher. We are a community. It's really important to me that you as parents are as involved in school as the students, the teachers, our neighbours. I want everyone to be involved in our community. And Let's Localise is an organisation that we use to help us do that. They bring us together. So they help us in terms of organising activities in school. You can see there's a quiz night that's coming up that perhaps you could take part in and be part of the Oakbank family on that quiz night that's coming up. We have opportunities, and again, this is easier before lockdown and COVID, but we have opportunities where we've planted trees around the site, or we've had painting parties. Our recycling scheme goes through this. We've had all sorts of opportunities that Let's Localise have helped us in terms of developing our school community. So I'd really encourage you to have a look at Let's Localise. There's a link on the website for them. Go on and see all about it and see if you can join up too, and perhaps join us for this next quiz that's coming up in a few weeks' time. So uniform. I'm not going to list the whole uniform because it's on the website and you can see it. But one thing that's really important to me is that we're making it as affordable and achievable for everyone as possible. I want to make sure that uniform doesn't become a bugbear for everybody, but at the same time, it's really important to me that we're smart and that we wear our uniform with pride, because we are all proud to be members of Oakbank. And I have to say, that's what Oakbank students do. They wear that uniform with pride and they wear it properly. We have house ties. So each house has a different colour. So each member of each house needs to make sure they've got the right tie to represent their house. And obviously houses are something that are really growing and becoming more important as we continue developing at Oakbank. Also, you can see the black sports uniform there as well. It's important that we've got all of our kit properly sorted as well. So you can see the lists for uniform. They're all available on the website. So I have tried to answer most of the questions that people have given to me prior to the meeting as we've gone through. So I've talked about Ofsted and student support and extracurricular. One thing I haven't talked about is admissions. And I know some people are concerned that things have changed slightly with regard to admissions. I don't think it will make much difference in terms of who actually ends up coming to school. This year, we have 112 places, as we do next year. And at the moment, there are 109 in Year 7. So there are still 3 spaces in Year 7 that remain to be filled. So I would encourage you to apply from wherever you live. I know that we've had some people ask, I'm at Jeffrey Field, do you think I've got any chance of coming in? We've got students from Jeffrey Field. This year, I'm absolutely certain we'll have students from Jeffrey Field, from other schools in South Reading, and from across the range of locations that we cater for. So I would apply, I would make sure that you put us at the top of your list because that gives you the best chance of getting in, but I'm confident we'll be able to squeeze everybody in who we possibly can. So that's admissions. Class sizes, you heard me say that we will reduce, we've got more teachers and that we've managed to reduce our class sizes. So our class sizes are slightly smaller than the average class size across Wokingham at about 27, but not every class is 27, some are smaller. There's the odd one that's bigger, but we have a good small class size and we're a small school. So it does mean as we move around the school, we all know everybody, we can all support everybody. Your child will not be anonymous at Oakbank. They will be known, they will be cared for, loved and supported, just as everybody in the Oakbank community is. I've talked a little bit about anti-bullying right at the beginning. I'm not naive enough to think that bullying never occurs. We're a school, bullying occurs in all schools. Unfortunately, it's a fact of life. But when it does occur, we will make sure that we act and support the person who's been bullied, provide them with all the assistance and guidance that they need. And we will also be working with the person who is the bully, because there's always a reason why someone's bullying. And I want to be able to support them, help them make sure that they don't bully again and that they succeed and grow from that experience too. So bullying does sometimes happen, unfortunately. We do everything we can to make sure that it is resolved effectively and swiftly. One of the things Ofsted actually talked about with our students was bullying, and all students said they knew what to do when there was a bullying incident, but actually bullying was not a big problem in the school. Student destinations, it's very difficult. Someone asked whether I could say which universities people went to or how many went to higher education. It's very hard for us to know that because we don't have a sixth form, so we don't have the contact with those students anymore. What I can say is that more students are going on to study A-levels than ever before, more students are going to sixth forms, and from that, more students will go on to universities. This year, only one student has not had the opportunity to progress in the way that they would like to progress. So every year 11 student bar one has achieved enough to be able to take the steps they would like to go forward in their education and towards their choice of career. So that's really good news and really important to me. And I'm very keen on making sure we're raising those aspirations. So we're talking to students more about universities. We've got links with universities. Last year, some year 8 students from last year spent a whole week in a university in Surrey, really soaking it up and learning what university was about. So it's not for everybody. There are other opportunities here as well. As I said, our curriculum is broad and provides both for the academic and for those students who are more vocational and want a more hands-on experience. But we will make sure that whatever they want to do, our aspirations for them are as high as they possibly can be. So those are all the questions that I was asked prior to the meeting. What I'm going to do now is ask if there are a couple of minutes, any questions that you may have. If you want to type those in, I will try and read 2 or 3. If I don't manage to answer your question, we're going to look at them afterwards and there will be an FAQ and I will answer all the questions online. That will be placed online in the next couple of days. If there's still questions that are unanswered, contact us, let us know. We're always here and really want to make sure that you have all the information you need to make the right decision. I did say right at the beginning, we are thinking about open mornings. It is something that I want to happen. We've just got to make sure we've got all the protocols right and that we're safe when we do it. Again, that information will be on the website. So we've got a question here. What time does school start? So at the moment, we have staggered starts. So it starts between 8:15 and 8:45, 9 o'clock even, the latest start. But on average, it's about 8:30. So for year 7, your first tutor session starts at 8:30, so you need to be here then, and then you finish at 3 o'clock, and you have a couple of breaks in between. Have we got any other questions that people want to type up? I'm just going to move towards my screen to see if I can see any more. Sorry, I am here. Do students use the Sports Hub for PE lessons? Yes, they do use the Sports Hub. So there are facilities in the sports centre over there. There's a big sports hall that we use. There's 3G pitches that we use over there. So they do absolutely get the opportunity. In fact, it's our best sports resource, really. We have a gym, we have a hall, we've got tennis courts and a basketball court, and that provides us with another really good resource. And they do use that lots, not just during the day, but also for extracurricular activities as well. Have we got any others? So school ends at 3 o'clock. However, at the moment for year 7s, because we've got a staggered finish, if it's still like that next year, it would end at 2:40. So between 2:40 and 3 o'clock. So sixth form, someone's asked, do we intend to have a sixth form? That we have an ambition towards having a sixth form. The first thing I would like to do is to make sure that the school, as it is at the moment, is excellent in all aspects. I don't want to grow too fast. I want to make sure that growth is at a rate that means that we are successful. So our focus at the moment is making sure that we're introducing all the improvements that we've started, making sure that we are an outstanding school, and then we can start thinking about sixth form. Now, I would say that that is potentially in the lifetime of students who start in 2021. So there is a chance by 2020, what is it, 6, that there could be a sixth form, but I'm not going to make any promises. It's an ambition, but it's very much in the early stages at the moment. So do we work on a 2-week timetable? Yes, we do work on a 2-week timetable, and we do that at the moment with our long lessons in order to make sure we can fit in our broad curriculum. It's new to the school, but it's working very well, and I think we're getting into the rhythm of that 2-week timetable. At the moment, for all students, they only need to bring in the equipment for 3 lessons. So I think that's helped them, and we keep reminding and making sure people understand which week they're on. See if there's any more. What time will clubs end? Well, that depends on the club. So you will get the information from the teachers who are running the clubs, and they will be in contact with you and let you know when things end. So if you've got a fixture, for example, and you're going to another school to play a football match, that could be quite a late finish. Or if you're on site and you're doing a club, I don't know, let's say it's a media studies club, that could just be for an hour after school. So that whole range of times. I'm going to answer one more, and then we're going to put on a little video that you may have seen already, but you may not have done. It's a great video of what life is like at Oakbank. If you've got any other questions, keep writing them down, and we'll put them on the frequently asked questions that will come up on the website in the next couple of days. So our last question, what languages do we cover? So we cover French, and we are considering introducing Spanish, but it's a bit like the sixth form question. We need to make sure we're getting everything right before we grow and cause ourselves more work. We want to make sure we get it right first. So Spanish would be the next one to come along. If you have a second language, we do encourage students to take a GCSE in their own language. So that's something that's also happening. So French at the moment with an ambition to grow into Spanish. Now we're going to have this video come in a minute. If you've written questions down I've not answered, we will get to them and look at those FAQs. But I would love to thank you so much for all of your time. I hope we've given you a flavour of what Oakbank is like. I hope it's something that you've enjoyed, and I'm really looking forward to working with you in the future, and would encourage all of you to apply and make sure that Oakbank is your first choice next year, and that we can welcome you all here, hopefully without the restraints that we've currently got at the moment. So we're going to watch this video. Thank you all and see you all soon.